Okay, so the aim of today is to go through a lower back self-check. So I'll put it in the group afterwards as a resource. The aim of a self-check, basically, as the name suggests, is that at the beginning of your session, you go through these kind of 4 exercises to see, are you in the best position to train? So there'll be one for back, shoulder, knee, but we'll go through lower back because that's probably the most common one. It should be really quick, so it might be that you go through all 4, everything's great, get on with training. If for any reason you're like, oh, this is tight, let me do something about it, and that's what today is going to be, is almost those solutions. So we'll go through kind of a full mobility today, but in the future, if you're like, no, it's always good when I do this, therefore you can skip it. If you start noticing that the same thing keeps getting tight, that's kind of where like your coach or myself should be made aware. So if it's, you've just started, so say with hamstrings, for example, you've just started a new block and you notice, oh, my hamstrings are really tight. It could be, oh, well, we can see why because we've started something new. It could be, oh, now my right is getting tighter and tighter and I'm not sure why. I'm trying this and it keeps happening. That is almost like an early sign that there may be a risk of injury. So it's not to say it will, but this is where if we can identify things sooner, that's how we stop getting injured. And you'll start to get to know your body. So after every deadlift session, I feel a bit tighter. Okay, that might dictate you have to do a little bit more work in a certain area. So that is the aim of today. As I said, you're going to get a handy little resource, and on the apps, there's also a video to go through the test just in case. So we will go through. So as I've said before, if things feel tight, that's okay. We don't want to push. If it's shaking, you're going too far. That means the muscle is spasming because it doesn't want you to go that far. So only go as far as a stretch. The slower you go, the more time you have to correct. Okay. So first thing, you are gonna, and I'm sorry if I'm not right in camera, the first thing we're gonna do is a roll down. So we've done this before, but chin to chest, round your neck, round your upper back, round your lower back, and go as low as you can. And then slowly unravel up. So what you're feeling for is, where is it feeling tight? So is it more when I bring my chin to my chest? Is it more when I bring my shoulders down? So you just start to identify where it feels tight. Is it one side more than the other? So this morning, let's just do 5 and just see how it is as we get limbered up. So chin to chest, round your shoulders, round your back, all the way down, slightly soft knees, and unravel back up. And it may be the more you do, the lower you get. It might be that you feel your hamstrings more. So again, it's just identifying, what do you feel? Then back up. Okay, so number 1, roll down. The next one is QL, so quadratus lumborum. So it's the muscle that goes here. So it's kind of, you got your big train track muscles, and just outer of it, but deep underneath, you have these QL. So that's kind of more your rotation muscles. So you're going to have a lie on your back. This down a little bit now. So there'll be a lot of camera adjusting today. So you're going to have a lie on your back. Bend your knees, keep your shoulders down on the floor. And I'm really sorry, we've got. You're going to bring your knees to your right side. You're going to bring your left knee up towards. I'm so sorry. Left knee towards your elbow, and you're seeing how high you can get that knee up without lifting your left shoulder. So your left knee is going towards your elbow. You can use your right hand to guide it, and you should feel that on the top. So the left side of that lower back. So you can do it as a little bit of a mobility. So you're going up, take it down, bring it up. And again, if you can, look to your left and just feeling how far you can go. So can you bring your knee towards the floor, or is it up here? How high can you get your leg up towards that elbow? Is it your bottom that's stopping you? Is it that lower back? Back to the middle. And then you're going to take yourself to your left. So knees drop to the left, the right knee is going to come up, you're going to look to your right, and again, you can do it as a little bit of mobility, they're going up and down, like so, and you'll feel that through here. Okay, things like click and clap, that is okay. So like so. Okay, so what you're also comparing left to right, so is it your left knee is hitting the floor, the right is barely touching? That is where you want to compare. So when we're training, we want to be 50-50. We don't want that we can rotate more one way than the other. So when we're training, you can train in the range you've got. So if you've only got a short range, you're only going to be able to train within that. Okay, so that's QR rotation. The next one, you're going to go on all fours. So most people have done this before. You are going to, with your right hand, you're going to reach up, keeping those knees square, so don't let those legs lift. Watch your hand, how far can you rotate? Bring that hand through, feed it through as far as you can. So can you get that shoulder towards the floor? So we're doing, open it up, so do 5. So what we're looking for on this one is that thoracolumbar. So thoracic is kind of your rib cage region. Your lumbar is that lower back. So we're looking at that mobility through here. Okay, so going through, back up. Again, things might click and clap. That's okay. Up. Four. So, same again, swap sides. So now left hand, so reach up, feed through, reach up, feed through. And again, how does it feel left to right? So it's one side a lot easier. When you go up, can you almost see the ceiling? Can you look further back? Again, just have that awareness of how things feel to you. Okay. The last one is your bottom muscles. So they call this a piriformis stretch, which is just one of your muscles in your bottom. This I would say normally do on a bench, but what I'll do it is in seated, but you can sit on a chair. That's probably the best place to do it. So I am sitting with my bum on a chair, and in theory my knees are bent. I am going to cross my right leg over my left. So my right ankle is on top of my knee, so just above my knee, like so. If I look down, it looks like an upside down fall. Now, I'm doing across my right leg. I should feel it in my right bottom, so it should feel deep in the hip. Your aiming is that knee becomes horizontal with that ankle. You can stress it more by coming forward, but making sure you're bringing your chest straight down and that you're not leaning off to a side. So with this one, comparing both sides, so what we don't want is one leg's up here and the other leg is down here. Again, that asymmetry. And a lot of kind of lower back pain, sciatic pain, so when people get pain down the leg, this is the most common muscle that is the culprit for it. So your sciatic nerve goes over your sitting bone, this piriformis muscle goes over the top, so that gets tight, nerve gets annoyed. So not damaged, just annoyed. Okay, so with this one, it's just comparing how do both feel. Is it one leg, as I said, easily goes down, the other one you're having to push it, or it's feeling that bit stiffer? Normally in the bottom, but some people can feel it in the knee, especially if quads are tight. So it's just, again, that awareness. Now, we've gone through that. If everything feels great, you crack on with your training session. If things feel tight, that's when we do something about it. So the warmer you are, the better. So it might have been that you just briskly walked to the gym. It might be that you've been on the bike beforehand, anything like that. First of all, it'll be rolling. So I normally with backs always say using a ball, like so. Oh God, like so. Now with rolling, muscles are like car seat belts. If you go nice and slowly, it'll go further. If you do anything too aggressively, your muscles will spasm because they're trying to protect you. So with rolling, pain is not gain. It's all right to feel uncomfortable, but you're doing this, we're defeating the point. So I'm going to move this camera again. So find a wall, please. So we're going to do, so if I point first, we're going to work through our mid-back. So you've got your train track muscles. That's what we're working on. Your QL muscle. So I've got my train tracks here. If you come in your train track like this, that's where you'll find your QL. So back against the wall. Let me bring this up again. So obviously you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to start on my right side. So we're actually going to time it So I'm going to do 30 seconds on each side, and you're literally going to go up and down. I don't want full squats. You find the section that needs it. If you're rolling around on a ball, you don't need it at that place. So you start to find where you need it most. Okay. So now you need some like music at this point. Rolling away. You see me rolling. Just getting funny looks from the dog now. So we're starting in that mid back. So kind of where your ribs are. If you're a female or male, you can wear your bra strap there, areas. So again, thoracic, that mid back region gets stiffer because we've got our ribs there. Now swap to your left. So again, in that mid back area. Now in reality, you can spend as long as you like on this, but you don't need to see a video of me of just shimmying on a wall. So then after this, you're going to bring, so we've got 10 more seconds, we're going to bring the ball lower, so to your lower back area. And again, you find the spot that needs it more. So now go bring it down a little bit, so just stay on your left. Now, if an area is too painful because it's tender, again, if we have any kind of injuries, so things like strains or your back goes, but we'll talk about that more. This is where you don't have to roll where the pain is. The back muscles, so they're called paraspinals, your train tracks, they're all one line. So if one bit hurts, go above and below, and you can have just as much an effect as going on the bit that hurts. Top side, so to the right, lower back. Now, obviously, don't roll on bones. It won't do much. It's just painful. And you choose the pressure. So starting off with a tennis ball, that's probably the easiest, but obviously it's got quite a bit of give. The lacrosse ball is normally the one I recommend because it's a bit more solid, but also it's got the rubbery bit so it doesn't fly around on the wall. So what we're going to do now is what we call that QL. So your train track muscle, go out to the side a little bit. You're then going to have to turn on the wall a little bit. And you'll feel, again, it's seeing how it feels. If you feel nothing, it doesn't need it in that area. But you need to turn into the wall a little bit and have a move up and down. Now, the reason I don't use a roller on the floor, personally, I think is a bit too aggressive to go straight to your body weight. So that's why I say a ball against the wall, because you've got a lot more scope as opposed to going straight to the weight of your body. But again, that's just my opinion. If that's what you prefer, just think about the principles of it not being painful. If you're tensing, defeating the point of this. Have a switch round. So sorry, you get my bum. Like I said, if you feel like you're just rolling around on a ball, just go find another body part. Now the next bit, so sorry, you will see my bum now. So your bottom muscles, think of it as a circle. We're going to go on that top half. That's kind of the main bit we want to address. So let's go right bottom. Now you can go side to side, up and down. You find what works best. We're going to be a minute here because this is, as I said, a more problematic area. And you've got lots of, I'm not saying you've got big bums, there's lots of areas to find. Okay, as I said, if you feel like you're just rolling around on a ball, that bit doesn't need it. So have a shimmy around. Don't do the outside of your hip where it gets bony, because back to that previous point, it's just going to hurt and it doesn't need to be rolled on that area. Go for the flesh. Swap bums. And again, with rolling as well, compare left to right. So if it feels like on my left side, I don't really notice anything, I'm just rolling on a ball, whereas on my right, it feels like Satan is poking my bum. That means there's a difference as well. So it's not always just about mobility, but how it feels. So if ever you get treatment and one side feels awful, it's just be mindful almost why. So muscles get tight when they're weaker or they can't tolerate the demand. So I'm not saying it's weak, it's just if it's weaker for what it can tolerate. So for example, if like dumbbell, you always use one side, naturally, that's going to be tighter because it's got more demand than probably it can handle, whereas overhead press, you should be working 50-50. If you're doing farmers and your right is your dominant side, lefty might get tighter because it just hasn't got the same tolerance as righty, for example. But there's loads of things on that one. So now you've rolled it around. So now these are more the solutions. So as I said, you can just do part of the tests. That in itself can be mobility. But what we'll do is go through a couple. In the future, you find the ones that work best. So sorry, we've got more camera shimmying. Shout out. If there's any questions, just shout out at me. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking to myself. So we're going to do that roll down again. So chin to chest, round, all the way down. Have a feel. Is there any difference now to when we did it 10 minutes ago? So do 5 or 4 more. So are you still feeling it in your upper back? Is it in your lower back? Are you now feeling it in your hamstrings? Because actually we've done a little bit on your lower back. Once you've done that, you're going to walk down into your plank. And we're going to, so the biggest thing with a warm-up mobility is you want to keep moving. So we're going to go into a downward dog, so hips up to the ceiling, chest through, or head through your shoulders. Come forward, hips down, scooch bum back up. If it feels too hamstring, soften the knees. So we're going to go through that 5 times, just as a little bit of a flow. Don't know if you can see, the dog is doing downward dog right in front of me. What we're going to do now, so in that plank position, we're going to go into a hip stretch. No, not helpful right now. So I'm going to bring my leg through, sit, bring my leg back. Other leg through, sit, and back. Okay, so just do 5 each side. We're almost just placing it down, just until you feel that bottom stretch. Down. Once you've done that, go back into a 4-point kneeling. Okay, and then we're going to do those twists again. So going up, through, 3 each side. And again, compare. How does that feel compared to the beginning? Swap sides once you've done 3. So reach through. You're now going to bring your left leg forward into a lunge, hands in the middle. And now we're going to do 5, opening up again. Once you've done that, hands down, left leg back, right leg forward, hands in the middle. Same again, left open. Again, feel, what's the difference left to right? Fixing your hips in a different way. With me, I can't get as far on that left as I can on my right. Once you've done that, back onto all 4s. And we're going to do cat, camel. So you're going to round your back. So a bit like rollering down. Think of your vertebrae as a pearl necklace. You're going to lift 1 pearl at a time. So it's not just hinging. You are going to round and unravel. Round and unravel. Scoochie forward. You can then add a side to side. So try to think about closing your rib and your hip. And then what you can do is find, if you round your back a bit more and then do this hip wiggle, you'll find the best position for you. So for me, I prefer when I round my back a bit more and then go side to side. Some people might want halfway. Just see how it feels to you. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to sit back, have instruments down, lie on your back. So you're now going to do just 5 taps each side. So just rolling to the floor. Keep those shoulders down. That's the big thing. Try to keep your feet on the floor. That keeps things relaxed. If we start lifting up, it actually becomes a core stability to be to the point of we want to get things moving. So now we'll go back to that QL. So you're at that top leg. So I'm going to use my left leg first. You're going to bring it up and round. So we're going to do 5. So swing up and round. Now it is easier if the bottom leg is bent. So you control. So if I do here, it'll be easier to get more range than if my leg is straight. Swap sides. So again, left leg straight, right leg is coming up towards my elbow. And just that little swing round. And once you've done that, sit yourself up. So now, it's like piriformis test, that cross leg test. You can do it in sitting now, like I am, not on the chair. And what we're going to do is almost a bit like a butterfly, coming up and down. You can do it lying on your back, bend this left leg, right leg crossed, and just like a butterfly coming up and down. Swap sides. Cross that leg over. And again, how is it feeling now compared to when we did that test? How does it feel left to right? Legs down, my right knee hug towards my chest. Now, if you've got knee pain, hug underneath. It's more about bringing your thigh towards your chest. You are going to bring your knee towards your left shoulder, right shoulder down. Right shoulder, left shoulder down. So you're almost doing like a sweeping motion. So your bottom muscle has different fibers. So depending which angle is to where you get more of a stretch. Okay, so sweep round. It might be you prefer going towards your other shoulder, that gets more of a stretch. You find what suits you best. Swap legs, hug knee, opposite shoulder, left shoulder, down. Good. And now, so this is where we'll go back to the self-check. So have a little go, do one roll down, like a QL rotation. So if you notice, oh, it's actually my rotation that was bad at the beginning, do something about it and then retest it. Yep, things are good. Now I can crack on. Okay. So see how it feels this morning. I would say this is the real basic of it, but you'll start to find, and if anything, if you're getting repeated issues, so my lower back is always tight on my right, and if I do this and it's happening week on week, that's what we need to know about so we can do something about it. Any questions? With my glamorous assistant. But as I said, you'll get the resource. So it's got a printout that you can just have on your phone to refer to. You've got the video just as those demos. And then this is more the solutions. Any questions? Or are we all flexing now for Easter weekend?
Oh, feeling. How good was Loki there? Great job.
I know, he didn't bark. You know, could you see when he was doing down dog in front of me? Yep, no questions?
On that QL
Yep.
when you're on your back doing the rotation, should your knee be able to get to the floor, or
That's the aim.
okay.
Yeah.
Quite a long way off then.
And again, it's not to say just like it's going off what your norm is.
Yeah.
Obviously, the aim eventually is to get there. But if your norm is like 3 inches off, great. Okay. But if it were one day you can't even get it 5 inches, that's the difference to you. So that roll down, if it's normal for you to get your hands to your knee, that's okay. Obviously, we're aiming to get a bit further and further. But if you lose your normal, that's the big thing. I don't expect everyone to be gymnasts by doing this self-check. Any other questions? Feeling loosey-goosey? Cool. But as I said, I'll put that in the group now. It's already on Everfit, the video and the resource. Any questions? Just ask away.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Desi.
Happy Easter.
Bye, guys.